there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Finally, we have some Zendikar on MTGO, so I thought I would queue up a pre-release here. This is a Swiss pre-release for a 3-pack Battle for Zendikar Draft. Right off the bat, we have the Smothering Abomination, which I do think is pretty awesome in the draft format. There's tons of Eldrazi spawns. There's also this Brood Monitor, which I think is very powerful at 6 mana, but you get 3/1/1s. And so you can diversify where your damage goes. We also have the landfall creature with the Snapping Gnarlid. And a complete disregard is very powerful actually in the format. It can handle a lot of the early threats. So also have a Scour Resistance. This pack is pretty good. It's full of like a bunch of 2-picks. I don't really think it has a far and away obvious choice here. I'm going to take the Smothering Abomination. It just seems like a pretty aggressive deck that you can continue to draw a lot of cards, and with the Eldrazi spawns, it's pretty good. So we'll take it. I have a Cinderglade here. Kind of want to take this for standard, but I'm not going to be greedy. These will go down next to nothing in a few days. We have another Scour from Existence. Seek the Wild, another Snapping Gnarlid. Landfall is pretty powerful in this format. I like the Spell Shiver. It's just basically a counter spell for 3 mana. The Herald of Kozilek is I really want to try this archetype in just the black-blue in a draft, but I don't know if I want to commit right now. Like, we have removal that's not terrible. We have like Outnumber that's fine. We have Oracle of Dust that's pretty good actually for drawing cards. The Spell Shrivel is fine. The Cinderglade is fine. The Chasm Guide is actually really good with Rally. Gives all of your guys Rally, but I think I'm going to take I think I'm actually going to take the Herald of Kozilek and just try for this Eldrazi strategy. This is being very greedy of me here, but again, I'm not going to try to make this the first draft I do necessarily the most competitive draft. This is a Swiss draft. If this was like an 8-man or 4-man single elimination, maybe I'd go for more competitive. So here's my philosophy on Magic. Here's the inner Timmy in me coming out to where I'd rather have fun with the pre-release draft than necessarily build the best draft possible. There are times when I want to be super competitive, and there's times when I want to have the most fun and just try, a brewing strategy in draft. I think this is going to be one of them. So Radiant Flames is very powerful, incredibly powerful, and I think that we'll play it regardless of what strategy we go, just because if we're in a 3-color deck, as you can see here, we can easily cast this for 3 and do 3 damage to each creature, and that's good against allies. We also have this Regenerate 4/3, can't block for 4 mana. It's not bad at all. The Call of the Signs is pretty good too, because it just adds it ramps and just puts 2 Eldrazi for 3 mana. There's also this strategy with the Swarm Surge. Swarm Surge and just like any sort of the Eldrazi Scion tokens is a pretty good strategy. I have a Devastator later on. Demon's Grasp I think is the obvious choice here. 5 mana solves anything. It is sorcery speed though, so I think I just will go ahead and take the Radiant Flames here. I think it's a little more powerful than the Demon. So we have a Catacomb Sifter. We're already in like 2 colors minimum. Black, red, blue, red. When it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 Eldrazi Scion. It's just a 2/3, and then it has a Scry ability packed into it. Boiling Earth is really good against opposing Eldrazi, and Horribly Araya is also a nice little counterspell. I don't think we pick it quite yet. And this Watcher puts 2 more Eldrazi spawns for the cost of 4. That's not a bad card. We have discard card with the Mindraker. The process is kind of weird on this one since it's 4. You'd have to have an early processor. And another Skimmer. Skimmer's actually not bad at all. I think what I'm going to take here is just the Boiling Earth. I think we have this like control package now, and this is just a huge sign that no one is going red in our opponents. Yeah, our opponents are passing us a lot of powerful green-red cards, and black actually seems to be the card that they're fighting over. Like blue is being highly passed. Yeah, this is Damping Pulse actually seems like a really good card in this particular format, because it shuts down all the Scions, and just giving creatures -1, -0 at just 4 mana permanently. That's That's pretty powerful. I do like the Cosmic Sentinel, though. It's a 1/4 for 2 mana, and then it gets, every time you cast a colorless spell, it gets +1/+0, but I'm trying to think if it's better than this. Grove Rumble is just incredibly powerful. Landfall, and then it's a 3/3 trample. And if this is going to be passed with a slide runner, I mean, it could be just wide open. I think I take it. All right, so we have a Devoid Trample, Vestige of Emrakul, which isn't bad. Another Incubator Drone that enters the battlefield, put a +1. And this one's actually one of the weaker. It is 4 mana for a 2/3 and a 1/1. That's not bad, I guess. Can't be block in Jest. We have a whenever creature attacks turn, it gains lifelink. I don't think we want to go into the Rising here. Feldar Cub's good to destroy enchantments. We have a Sure Strike, this +3/+0. I don't know if it's worth it. The Stalwart can end up being a 3/4. I don't think it's the right play either. So I think it's between the Vestige and the Incubator Drone. I think the Incubator Drone's a little bit more powerful, even though we still haven't figured out what our colors are at this point. I'm still just picking the best cards. So let's see if the Ruin Processor, when it casts Ruin Processor, may put a card for opponent's. Okay, this is the gain 5 life for 7 mana for 7/8. That's not bad. We have a Devoid, Flying, and Ingest. So this helps you get your. This is the good one that helps get your cards exiled. It's a 1/2 for 2 mana. I particularly don't like it. We have a Belligerent Whiptail that gets first strike. That's pretty good. Let's see. The retreats are usually always good. Landfall, tapper, and tap a creature. I think we just take the retreat. I think this card's going to be very solid. Blisterpod. Blisterpod is a great little card that when it dies, you get another Eldrazi. We have an Oracle of Dust again, and a Wavewing Elemental that gets landfall +2/+2 and has flying for 6 mana. We have a Menace Landfall, gets +2/+2 for 5 mana. And we have the Blisterpod. At this point, I still don't know what I'm going. I mean, all these landfall cards are fine. We're kind of into blue. This one's a nice little finisher. It's going to be a 5, usually a 5/6. I think I'm just going to safely pick the Blisterpod. We have a nice, I think we have a teamer strategy going here. Blighted Steps are not bad. We have another Snapping Gnarlid. That came all the way back. It is a decent card. It's a 2/2 for 2. And let's see what the trick does. Creature opponents get, yeah, and you draw a card. This is not a bad card to help like save those. It's like a Fog Effect that also draws you a card for 4 mana. It's definitely not a bad card. Scar from Existence is pretty decent. I'm going to take the Snapping Gnarlid. No one went into the landfall, and I'm kicking myself for not doing so, because we could have had a pretty sweet landfall deck going. One of the Gnarlids we would have had to take earlier. But let's see here. Spell Shovel's fine. We have another Devoid guy that can draw cards by giving back cards in the graveyard. A Scour from Existence is fine. Seek the Wilds can get a land or a creature. That's not horrible. I think we'll take the counterspell. And here, Mortuary Mire is pretty good in limited. We can take an Eldrazi Devastator if we need to. It's an 8 mana. Like, a lot of times you have to play a very, very high land count. At least in the pre-release you did. But in this, I don't know if I care too much. We'll take it over a 1-drop that gives all creatures +1 for 5 mana. I think we just take the Eldrazi. Horribly Rise, fine. So is Mindraker. Mindraker's not a bad card. The Skyline Cascade is actually amazing, though. I lost this card a lot in the pre-release. And Damping Pulse came all the way back. We'll sideboard it. And Seek the Wild's fine. It's a card. Seek the Wild's actually a card we can easily use. So far I'm okay with this. We still haven't 100% dedicated to a strategy. Alright, so we have a Rush of Ice, which is also really good for tapping creatures down and not having them untap. Another Wavewing Elemental. I think the Beastmaster is just too late to get going. Landfall, whenever land enters the battlefield, you may pay to put 2 counters on it. That kind of uses your turn. I didn't have any experience with this guy at all. Neither playing against it in the pre-release, or I didn't have one in my own. We have the Royal Shaper, which I guess can get out of control in a limited format. I don't think that's gonna work. This is just not a pack that I think that our deck right now wants. We can search the library for base land, put it on the battlefield tab, and shuffle the library natural connection. That'll help us with the if we're in a 3-color deck, we need some fixing. But I think the Wind Rider Patrol is not bad at all. This combat after player Scry, it's flying 4/3. I think this is a very solid pick. We'll go ahead and pick it. So another Damping Pulse, another Herald of Kozilek, but at this point, we're not too much in the devoid. I mean, basically, that's all we have. I think that blue, red, green, if we can get enough fixing, still seems like the best strategy without going into like a devoid type strategy. Herald of Kozilek is just a value creature based on its own, and if we get 2 of them, I mean, the Scour from Existence could actually be castable. We have a complete disregard that's a powerhouse. Grave Birthing is fine if, I mean, you draw a card and get a 1/1 Eldrazi. I have another flying 3/2 for 4 mana. Void Attendant, put a card from opponent's exile and put a 1/1 colorless spawn. That's actually very, very powerful. I think that we might just take the Void Attendant, but we need some ways to... I don't know. I think that we're going to go into the... This is 2 Kozileks we have. And I'm not into green. Like, I haven't 100% dedicated to green. We still have the Smothering Abomination. Exile target creature and target land. The Grip of Desolation actually seems pretty good, especially with the Herald of Kozilek, but it is 2 black. And another Mindraker, Endless Watcher. It's 2 more Eldrazi spawns. We have an Anticipate that's not bad. Giant Mantis is fine as a 2/4. Just kind of a vanilla-based card. Vampiric Rites is something we probably don't want to play. I don't think we can quite go into white at this point. We've dedicated too much. So it's between the Grip of Desolation. I still don't want to... well, Grixis would be open, but we'd have to get rid of our green. I'm just all over the place. I don't know if I'm happy with my picks so far. I think that... I mean, this could cost a lot less with the Herald of Kozilek. I think we just take the Eyeless Watcher, though. Crumble to Dust. Exile target non-basic land. It's a great card for any sort of modern deck, but I don't think there will be too many non-basic lands we have to care about. We have another Boiling Earth. I'm telling you, the people underestimate the power of this card. It kills a lot of allies and Eldrazi's on your opponents. And we have the good landfall guy in the form of the Valakut Predator. This guy is a 2/2, and whenever land into the battlefield, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. But without the fetch lands, these are a lot weaker. With people taking the Evolving Wilds, it seems pretty highly. I don't think we can take it. Tap out 2 dark creatures. Those creatures not untap. Put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn. I don't think it's quite there. I'd rather like a Boiling Earth. We have another Incubator Drone, which I think is fine for putting more colorless and ramping. It might just be the best. I think the Valakut Predator might be a little bit better than the Incubator Drone. But I'm going to try to go for this Devoid ability. We have Evolving Wilds now. This is the card that you want to pick up a bunch of if you're in the strategy of landfall. Another Mindraker we could take. Another Science Skimmer. We have another Elemental. This card is very lackluster. Vigilance for allies. What does this one do? Menace for allies. This is a good ally one. We have a Lava Step Rider, everything. I just think we just take the Evolving Wilds. We do need some fixing. So Scour from Existence actually gets a lot more juicy now that we have 2 of the Herald of Kozileks. I should have just dedicated to one of the strategies. I think we would have a pretty good Devoid strategy if I actually still like the Spell Shrivel here. It counters most cards. I mean, unless they pay 4, that's huge. We have, when it drives me to draw a card, if you do discard a card with a Salvage Drone, not bad. A Plummet's actually really good in this format. There's plenty of flyers. I think we just take the Spell Shrivel, though. Titan's Presence. Reveal a colorless card, exile creature if it's less than. I think Titan's Presence is actually pretty good. We'll have some colorless cards. But the power is just 2 on this one. 1 here. We'd have to get some bigger... Definitely get some bigger Eldrazi's. Here's a Devastator we can definitely end up taking. That'd be our second Devastator. I think we just take the Evolving Wilds. It's something that will help us fix. And we can pick up these Eldrazi's later next pack. All right, a 3/2 enters the battlefield. You may put a card opponent controls exile. If you do, return target creature. So this one bounces. I think this is a pretty powerful Eldrazi, the 3/2/1. We have a breaker of armies, which is a 10/8 for 8 mana. I think that's actually very powerful for an Eldrazi. It's the same power as this one has trample. This one makes everything block. Another Grave Birthing, another Strider. Strider, again, can bounce a card. Comes out earlier. I think at this point, we just might take a breaker. Another Healer, Rush of Ice. Rush of Ice isn't bad. It's early ways to... I wonder if Reclaiming Vines is really good. It takes care of, like, the retreats. But it's sorcery speed, and it can tap something down. I think it's better than anything here, though, so we can put this sideboard. Another Dampening Pulse. I still think these cards are very rated. But another Spell Shrivel. I mean, just countering things is great. I don't think that anything's wrong with this card. I mean, a lot of people in draft don't like to be reactive. They like to be proactive. And yeah, I think Spell Shrivel's still the pick, though. We have a lot of counters. At this point, it doesn't really matter. I think we just take a Void card. Crumble to Dust is... Landfall here is fine, though. We do have a nice little landfall strategy. We could have definitely gone into a landfall strategy. The Valakut Predator, I believe, is a little bit more powerful. We'll take it. And at this point, we can take the wing. And a Salvage Drone, I guess there's nothing wrong with it. But here, I think I actually just want to cut green completely. We do have the Eyeless Watcher and just go into red-blue. I don't think we have enough to justify bringing in this green. And so, for now, I think we'll just be red-blue. And I do need some help here. We do have decent amount of removal. All right, so Void Winnower, they can't cast spells at even or odd, and it's a 9 mana. It's just very hard for us to get up there. There's something better in this, and it doesn't look like there is. I need the Zulaport Cutthroats for deck sign building, but I'm not going to take it at this point. We could still go into black with this Smothering Abomination, but we have very few ways to actually generate Eldrazi's at this point. And I think the Void Winnower is fine. And we did not get any sort of ramp-based strategy, though, so it's going to be tough. This is going to be really tough for us to get these Eldrazi's, but I'll take it. It's a mythic, might as well take it. Here's another Tapper. We have really good ally card with the Druids to put plant tokens into play. Another Swarm Surge. Again, you can see how we can get that strategy going quite easily with a bunch of Eldrazi spawns and Swarm Surge. Another Eyeless Watcher. Now this makes me really want to play green. I don't know if we take an Eldrazi Devastator. We have plenty. I mean, we have this Cruiser is not bad at all. By tapping creatures down. Eyeless Watcher would make it so we have 2 Evolving Wilds. I don't know if it's enough fixing at the moment to justify it bringing it in. I think we just take the safe pick with the Cruiser. I'm not happy with this pick so early because it's just a subpar card. We do need some ingest cards. I don't think I have any ingest cards. Hey, Lumbering Falls helps us with the fixing, and it's a very powerful card. Clutch of Current seems very good. Just a bounce spell for 1 mana. Not bad. Everything else in this pack is kind of weak except for this Valakut Predator. And it came back the last time. I think I'll take the Lumbering Falls just for fixing's sake. And now we can go into the green. But we still need some... Now, I really wish I would have taken the Eyeless Watcher. They can ramp up to getting our higher drops out. We have a Retreat in black. This is actually a pretty cool retreat in Limited. Another Devastator. I think we have plenty of higher drops. We have a Demon's Grasp, which I think is the best. We have a Leopard, which has landfall. Search Library. I think at this point we need to go some sort of fixing and ramp for the natural connection. I think it's the best line of play here, so we'll take it. And another Seek the Wilds. We have an Omnath the Locust Rage. I think Omnath's actually quite playable in our deck. Again, it's another very high drop. Boiling Earth is something we probably do need to help stabilize. We have a Fight card with Unnatural Aggression. I'll take the Mythic. I think that our deck is quite weak here, so we might as well. We have the Eyeless Watchers now we can bring in. And we can bring in the Grove Rumbler for landfall. I don't know about the Snapping Gnarlid. It probably is good enough. Another Grove Rumbler. I think we take it. Yeah, really kicking myself into go landfall. I think we would have had an excellent landfall deck. Another Spell Shrivel. We can counter everything once we get to a certain amount. Outnumber is okay. Scour is fine. I think we just take the Scour at this point. I think Spell Shrivel, we have 3 Spell Shrivels. If we go more than 3, we're definitely in. I don't know. It still seems like it's a great card, though. I like this with being able to establish an earlier drop. Scour, though, I'm going to take another Spell Shrivel. Ruin Processor, that's a gain 5 life one. We have way too many high drops. We have another Skyline Cascade. This card is great. We'll take it. I'd love to hit another Fixer. I think we need to use the Seek the Wilds and wonder if the Salvage Drone actually wants to be in our deck. We have a 3/2 flyer we can just take over the Beastmaster. Yeah, we'll sideboard this. If they're weak against like early flying, we can bring it in. A Grave Birth, another Salvage Drone, another Devastator. Again, I still think we have plenty of high casting Eldrazi's if we even want to use them. But is it just better than I think Salvage Drone's fine. We might need some early ways to deal with him. I guess the Invoker is okay. Set is very awkward in draft. Looming Spires is fine for a 1/1 first strike. We're having a lot of lands come into play though, but I think it's perfectly acceptable. And I think we do need to take the other Seek the Wilds. And use both of these. So I'm not even quite sure we need these Herald of Kozilek. Yes, it helps out the Spell Shrivels. Helps us get in these other drops quicker. But, I mean, we're definitely all over the place with landfall and so we have to make a decision if I want to go into landfall or some of these higher drops and just hope to get to our higher drops. And I think I'm going to go with the latter. I mean, Invoker actually doesn't seem bad if you can get 8 mana, but it just seems too easy to die. The Salvage Drones can help out what the Cruiser? Do we have any way to exile their cards besides? I don't think we do. So the Cruiser's kind of weak here. Because that's the only thing with Ingest. We could definitely cut these. I think the Kozileks are fine because we have like the higher Eldrazi's to ramp up to. Like right now we'd have a 17 land count with double Seek the Wilds. which isn't terrible. We have a Blister Pod we could bring in for early. I think Blister Pod can come in. Could bring in a Devastator, but that's a lot of higher drops. And then just take out like the Snapping Gnarlid. But I think that we want like some early curve drops. And keep our Eldrazi's just because they're 8 mana is rough just for an 8/9 trample for 8 mana. I don't know, maybe just Void Winnower and cut these two and just play a ton of lands to try to get us up to what we need. The Wavewing Elemental hits for 5, 5/4 flying for 5 basically is what we're planning on. This would add, we'd add 11 lands, I'd put up to 17 lands. With Evolvings, I think we'd still want to go higher than that. Incubator Drums help us ramp. We're not really ramping too much anymore. The Rumbler's still fine. I still think we want the Valakut Predator for early curve. Yeah, I think 17 might be okay with 2 Seek the Wilds and a Natural Connection. But I do think we want to go 18 lands. We do have ways to reduce the Void Winnower, and that kind of makes me want it over the Omnath. Omnath is just... Yeah, Omnath is just a backbreaking if you can get it out. This guy's an Elemental too. You can think about running that in the Elementals. Yeah, Retreat Core Elm is definitely powerful enough to play. 3, 4, 5. We have 5, 6 tap lands. Do I cut? Herald of Cosmos act as early blockers. Snapping Gnarlid is just a drop we can add early. And with the Predator and the Gnarlid, they can get in there for that early damage and early... I'm going to try 17 lands. This might be too little for a 7-drop and a 9-drop. But the rest of our cards are actually quite inexpensive. We do want to hit a lot of lands for landfall, though. So this is why I'm still thinking 18 is the right play. And it might just be over a Blister Pod. Blister Pod, though... No, Blister Pod just seems way too powerful in the format to help me stabilize. It might just be the Snapping Gnarlid. But a 2/2 for 2 with potential hitting it in for 3 early. Putting our opponent kind of more on the ropes, I think is a really good idea. We have a lot of Spell Shrivels, but we still have to... The thing with Spell Shrivels, we have to make it to the late game. Alright, we'll try 17. And we do need blue. I think we need a lot of green. We have double blue, green. Red needs a bunch of sources. Green still needs the most. That adds 18 if we add. So blue. We have double blue for just the Wind Rider. The Skylines. I think we can cut an island. I still think we want 18 lands. I'm just trying to figure out what the best cut would be, and I still think it's the Snapping Gnarlid. Or just the early Blister Pod. And yeah, Blister Pod is the less impactful. It helps us again early and then leaves back a guy. But in this case, I think it's actually the weak link. So we'll submit this.